Hello YouTube. So I haven't made a video in a while. I don't make them that often anymore. But this is a time to make a video. I mean, if there's ever a time to make a video, this is the time to make a video. Wow. What can I say? Basically, I used to make videos for anyone who's going to be watching this video, if there are people who watch some of my videos. For anyone who's going to come across this video and watch this video, before you get exactly, because I'm going to start off based on the fact that people already know me, you know what I'm saying, in videos that I made in the past on other channels. So I'm going to start off from there and then just keep going on from there. But you see, I think I joined YouTube like on the first week that it opened up. My account name at the time was Pierre Elliott Trudeau. I was big time Canadian liberal at the time. Then I had my channel, The Almost Evil. But the point is between those two channels, as well as my frequenting various forums around the internet, I've made friends, I've made foes, I've got to know people, I've got to know a lot of military service members. In fact, a lot of my friends now were foes because they were military service members in 2002. And now they're my friends. And something happened. You see, they went to war, and then they realized that things that I was saying, which was simply because I was listening to others. I was listening to other soldiers who had gone to war previously. I was listening to the arguments. I was listening to reason. I was watching documentaries. I was reading history. I was trying to learn, you know, or find some sort of semblance of truth or sanity in the world in which we live. So, doing that, and the fact that I have, I don't know, a near obsession when it comes to justice and knowing the truth. I don't really care about choosing a team or a side or something like that. For me, it's, you know, you have to be honest, truthful, upfront, even if an idea that you support somehow brings about something nasty, then you have to be upfront and honest about it. So, but anyway, so plus it's just disingenuous, and it's not intellectually honest. To me, it's just, it turns me off. So anyway, so during 2002, you know, I was telling there were people on a forum at the time that, you know, why they shouldn't go to war, that there was no yellow cake, uranium, enriched uranium purchased from Niger by Saddam Hussein, and that there were no chemical weapons anymore because they had been destroyed previously. Iraq had destroyed almost all of their missiles at the behest of the United Nations and under the UN Security Council jurisdiction after the first Gulf War. So it was sort of like they didn't have anything anymore. So I knew that was bullshit too. I mean, they were basically, the evidence showed they didn't have any WMDs. And of course, the bullshitters, neocons, and the people who were very big-time nationalists, and you know, the U.S. had just been attacked the year before in 2001, so they were big-time nationalists, and they allowed their emotions and their feelings to sort of kind of flush out their capacity for reasoning. So they went in with this war. They were for this war, and now they're no longer for this war. Almost every single person they're all online personas, and I'm not going to name names because now most of them work for Ron Paul, or they work for Dennis Kucinich. But anyways, point being that these people, including Kokesh, you probably heard that guy, Adam Kokesh. At that time, he was big time pro. I remember you, Kokesh. I remember you from back when, and from way back when. But anyways, so he was big time for the war. Hence why he went there and came back was like, what the fuck? But anyway, so there was this group of people, several forums that I won't name, that were big time gung-ho. But anyways. And in 2002, they started making certain arguments that were pretty much parroting the arguments that we were hearing from the Bush administration at the time. And a lot of us who were kind of anti-war because we had, you know, somewhat of an understanding of history. At that time, I was still, I'll always be ignorant. We'll always be ignorant. But at the time, you know, I was still kind of young, still learning about this stuff. But even then, I knew more than many people at that time who were making decisions to go to war. And what I'm seeing today is that exact same pattern. I mean, today at work, I put the TV on CNN. We have a TV at work. So I put it on CNN and left it on there all day. And I work in a multicultural environment. So it's a type of environment where we have prayer rooms. It's a type of environment where we have people who either recently immigrated from here or there, or people who have always, have been born here, or people who are who have a religious faith. I don't know, there's Jewish, Muslim, Christian, atheist. It's the place in which I work has, it's amazing for that. So by leaving it on CNN and seeing the war in Syria, I was just listening to what people were saying as they walked by the TV. It's just me, I'm curious. So, oh fuck, man. Sorry, someone's massively texting me because they need tech support, and no thank you. Okay, so, basically, what I was hearing as they were going by, a lot of people was, oh, stupid USA, fuck the USA, and all that, one after the other. And these were some of my friends who were French-Canadian who were saying that. So, me, I'm a bit of a shit disturber, so if I hear someone talking about politics, I'm going to get in that discussion right away. So I got right in there, and I'm like, what do you mean, fuck the USA? They're like, well, they're warmongers. I'm like, Harper, our Prime Minister, was about to join this war as well. It's just the popularity of the war that changed his mind. I mean, if 50 plus 1% of Canadians were for invading Syria, we'd be in there right now. So would the UK. So, even though it's a wrong war, it's stupid. It's completely idiotic to, it's sort of like, how can I say this? What is that? He who does battle with monsters. Let me check. He who does. It's a quote. He who fights monsters should see to it that he himself does not become a monster. He who gazes for long into the abyss, and if you gaze for long into an abyss, the abyss gazes also into you. Which is to say that. And I think it's Nietzsche. I think it's a quote from Nietzsche. But anyways, I think that's what it says here. Yeah. The gist of this is quite simple. If you use war in order to achieve peace, you will only know war and you will never know peace. Because if you do battle with monsters, by becoming a monster yourself, then you have not vanquished a monster. If you defeat that monster, you've created a new one in yourself. And in the ideals that you've furthered. Because now it becomes justifiable in the pursuit of what you think is right to kill others, which is no different than what the other monster that you killed was also thinking. So, it's completely moronic to put yourself in the middle of a fight between Assad and Al-Qaeda and rebels in Syria. Especially if you start bombing innocent civilians like we always do. You become the monster. In the eyes of the people whom you are bombing, you are the monster. Only stupid, ignorant, actually they're greedy capitalist motherfuckers, state capitalist motherfuckers, but anyways, only that kind of person could, with a straight face, tell you that the U.S. would be greeted as liberators in Iraq. Everyone else fucking knew Wolfowitz was full of shit. Or was it Cheney? Or was it Rumsfeld? Who gives a fuck? They're all the same. Everyone knew they were full of shit. When they said that the U.S. would be greeted as liberators, it was sort of like a, what the fuck kind of world do you live in? And, of course, what we saw was the U.S. was not greeted as a liberator in Iraq. What we saw is you had insurgents arrive. And you had IEDs, women carrying IEDs, children carrying IEDs to kill American soldiers, to get them the fuck out of their land, or off their land. To get them to stop killing them. To get them to stop raping them. Not all U.S. soldiers do this, but they're all wearing the same fucking uniform. And they all got the same flag. And they all got their heads shaved, and they all look alike. So, How can you tell which one raped who? You just fucking kill them all. They all represent the same thing, right? That's pretty much the view from an insurgent's perspective. You're not killing an individual with a name tag. You're probably never going to see the soldier again. What you're killing is a flag that doesn't belong on the ground it's currently standing. So, this whole notion of being greeted by liberators in Syria, you're starting to hear this. The people need us there. The people want us there. And then you look at the people in Syria and they're like, fuck no, don't come here. And then, of course, you hear like Bill Kristol, who's a Project for New American Century douchebag, who himself goes, oh no, they will be greeted as liberators, they want us there, they love us, etc. And you hear John McCain so insincere, kind of like in a Dr. Evil sort of way, saying things like, we wish to protect the people in Syria. It is so horrible that Assad is harming them. It pains my heart to hear this. That's basically what he looks like saying about this. And of course, he's got the small, short hands, just like Dr. Evil, so it kind of makes it really funny. But you can tell the sincerity of a person. If you're a person who has a large degree of empathy, like me, you can detect if a person is being sincere or not, just based on the tone of their voice, the sort of their body posture. I don't know exactly how to say it, but it's there's a lack of a soul for, I don't know. The body posture, just look at me how I'm moving right now. My eyes like this, and I'm smiling from time to time, and I'm feeling as though, there's feeling coming out when I'm speaking, right? And you can feel it. See, my voice changes, you can feel it. At that point, you see my eyes, you see the emphasis, you know exactly, you empathize, you say, oh, that's what he's trying to say. There's an emphasis on that word, there's an emphasis on that letter, on that syllable. John McCain doesn't do that. He only does that if he's talking about protecting rich people. It is so horrible! We cannot allow rich people to be harmed! Or whatever. Whenever he's doing the regular status quo bullshit Republican talking points, then you see he's got the feeling. He's on the floor saying, Obama's weak, he's not a leader. He's got the feeling. But as soon as he starts talking about giving a shit about anyone else but himself, and to me, do you really want to trust someone who doesn't give a shit about the innocent people there and says that, what he wants to go do there is help the innocent people over there? Well, basically, there's not much that I can really say in this video because I'm bored of making YouTube videos. At this point, that's why I don't make them that often. But I kind of have to at least make one video about this. Even though it'll get barely any views, war with Syria is stupid. It's just idiotic. There's no, the United States of America can't afford it. The military is overstretched. And it's just going to piss off China, Russia, Iran, not to mention the people in Syria, not to mention that it goes against so-called international law that kind of further erodes any sort of moral integrity or moral standing the United States of America and its leaders might have with regards to world issues if you just keep ignoring UN Security Council decisions when they go against what you want, but you applaud them when they follow through with what you want. It just shows that you don't really give a shit about any concept of right or wrong. What you give a shit is about me, myself, and I. And in this particular case, we're talking about oil futures, Goldman Sachs, and other financial entities that are going to make a killing off of this. We're talking about the military-industrial complex and weapons manufacturers are going to be making a killing off of this, potentially in bomb making, especially in bomb making and whatnot. The oil prices are going to skyrocket. You're going to see CNN love this, especially Aaron Burnett, because former Goldman Sachs. A lot of people at CNN, and a lot of people running CNN, former Goldman Sachs. A lot of people running the U.S. government, former Goldman Sachs. So it's sort of like this view where you see that Goldman Sachs is highly invested in oil futures, and then you see what their former employees, where their allegiances lie, and where their sort of interests lie. which is always in waging war against countries where it kind of destabilizes the oil price, making it go up by creating an uncertainty in terms of the oil supply. So when I start seeing this sort of stuff, my little brain kind of tells me something. Something in my brain, it's just a little brain, And if you can't see this stuff, then it means your brain's even smaller. But anyway, so when I see this stuff, I get this sort of twitch. Because I know a lot of people are going to fall for this because they're not going to ask questions. They're not going to do any research, look at history. They're not going to look at any of that. They're just going to take it at its word. They're just going to obey. Fuck that. Anyways, here's the peace and love and everything good that comes with it. Anyways.